Hello. So this is just touching upon how I found community when first moving to a new city, in this instance, Chicago. For me, I initially looked at different fitness groups in the city, and what that looked like would be seeing if different groups had, say, a regional chapter and what that might look like. Say, for or organizations like the Keeley's International, Endorphins, or November Project. Those are different ones where whether they're more social, whether more mission driven, or different ones as a whole, and just seeing what you're looking for in terms of whether you want more like laid back, chill vibe, or you want more like a competitive one, or you want something that's more mission driven in terms of things. I would say from there, I also looked at different groups such as, say, book swaps or book clubs and different other things in the city and seeing how to go about that. And I also looked at alumni networks and looked at seeing if my school had a presence in the general area. Since I went to DePaul and they're more headquartered at Chicago or headquartered in Chicago, I just looked at seeing if there are different alumni networks and if they did, say, volunteering or different other activities more offline. From there, I also looked at different volunteering organizations, similar to seeing my interests and my values in terms of what I wanted to do when moving to a new city. And I just say what that looks like is just placing yourself in areas where you'd want to meet like minded people with how they spend their time and what activities they're doing otherwise. Just like where you'd expect to find people like you or friends all together. I would say, besides that, what that looked like would be also, since I was still a student at the time being, going to research different clubs on campus that also had a bit of a presence. But I'd say it was still towing the line between like student versus like full functioning adult with like a day job and everything now. As I think being in grad school before, what that looked like was more adults had their standard 9 to 5, and then their grad school hours are more after hours, and sort of being too tired to like do that or engage with that unless it helps with, say, like work or professional development, which makes sense because it's like after a 9 to 5 you're pretty tired and just wanting to like rot or do nothing. I'd say from there, in terms of different organizations or different things that helped with me in finding community, would just be staying with different ones and just being a regular with them over time. And I would say what that looks like is that over time you might meet similar people who have like-minded interests and just sort of go from there. And I would say what that looks like would just be joining, say, the book clubs or book swaps might have it, or just joining, say, running group or different things, and just all of these different things, and just give them a try a few times and just try to see if you are able to do that more and just try and put yourself out of your comfort zone. I would say besides that, it was also joining different Facebook groups that were adjacent to that and seeing how I was able to, say, meet different people or engage with the local community. What that looked like for me was joining one that was more queer focused, where there is a group in Chicagoland called Chicago Queer Exchange, where what that looks like is more about, I would say it's like a trade slash exchange one where it's sort of like Craigslist, but offline they also have ones where they post about stuff that's happening in the local community in addition to seeing like what's out there in addition to different things. I would say besides that, having said all this, I just looked at different stuff that align with my interests and hobbies, such as, say, like running from before, or looking at comedy classes, or looking at board games, among other things, and just see what works for you at the end of the day, because it's a different fit for different people. And when you're entering adulthood and what that looks like, it's that I'd say just graduating college, it's realizing that not everyone looks like you and is from just like the same homogenous background of like 20 20 something year old that just graduated college, moved to a new city. It's a pretty diverse community of people who move to different places, and I'm sure that people come at all different stages of their life, one way or another, and not just one person that's like, oh, I just came here from college, moved to a new town, settling down, and planting roots. But yeah, I think that's a pretty streamlined or like simplified version of like what I did to find community outside of like say like meetup endeavors of like trying different meetups, seeing what worked, what different didn't work. I think it's just like trying out different things that you'd otherwise want to do with your free time and try to see if you're able to meet different people and sort of just go from there. But yeah, I think that's about it for this one, but thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, don't be awesome.